What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. If you've wondered where I've been for the past month, the answer is my channel has been completely hacked. So in the meantime, what I was doing was uploading to my second channel for the past month, but I'm very excited to finally be back to the main channel where I call home, and I'm sure you are excited to finally see some Pokemon Go content if you didn't know about everything that was going on behind the scenes. Anyways, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Darkrai. So Darkrai recently got announced that it would be featured in some of the raids, and a lot of people may be kind of interested in this Pokemon. What should you do? Should you power it up? Should you unlock a secondary charge move? And then secondly, what charge moves should you end up actually using? There's been quite a bit of a debate between the Dark Pulse as well as the Shadow Ball, so we're going to be talking about that. So excited about it. If you do enjoy this episode and you are excited for me to be back, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Darkrai, with a max AP of 3,739, Darkrai is a pure dark type Pokemon. So the reason why I have this Pokemon up on the screen and it doesn't have a lucky background is because you cannot lucky trade for Darkrai, unfortunately. With it being a mythical Pokemon or classified that way, you just simply can't trade it. The only Pokemon that you can currently trade that is mythical is Meltan and Melmetal. So just wanted to go ahead and kind of keep that in mind because this is very important. The benefit of the lucky trade is to just be able to get that Stardust discount. Darkrai is unfortunately not going to be able to get that, so it is something to consider. So we're going to be investigating it. Technically, because it is going to be a more expensive Pokemon, it's going to have some pretty good reasons for us to want to invest in it. So let's go ahead and look at it further. The first thing that we can take a look at is the stats. So the biggest stat that kind of stuck out to me in this case was going to be that attack stat. With an attack stat of 285, that ranks out at 13th in Pokemon Go. That is fantastic for this Pokemon. It does compete against a lot of other Ghost and Dark type Pokemon that have a similar attack stat, but Darkrai does edge them out a little bit. We'll be talking about that when we get into the raid performance. Up next, a lot of people kind of ignore the defense stat. The defense stat is actually pretty solid. It's ranked at 88th in Pokemon Go, so I'm really liking that. The stamina is low, but that's pretty typical of the Glass Cannon slash like the Ghost Dark typing. There's just a lot of Pokemon that kind of fit that description. But it maintains an overall ranking, statistically speaking, of 52nd in Pokemon Go. But what are rankings, what are stats, what are all of that without the actual movesets? So we're going to look at that next. So as far as the ideal movesets are concerned, we actually have a lot of great information going on with this Pokemon. So number one, you definitely want to go with Snarl. Got a little bit of an upgrade, but it was already fantastic. So definitely go with Snarl. And then on the charge moves, there's been quite a bit of a debate between Shadow Ball and then Dark Pulse. They're both fantastic moves, by the way. At the end of the video, I'll give my opinion on it and why I want to choose one over the other, but I do want to go ahead and kind of point that out now. And then Focus Blast is going to be kind of interesting from the PvP perspective. So honestly, we don't have any red flags going on for Darkrai. It really has a lot of its potential able to be realized. So let's see exactly how it ends up doing. When we go ahead and check out the performance from the raid perspective, we're going to go up against a Mewtwo, which will be weak to the Dark slash Ghost typing. And here is the performance. So we've got Chandelure in at the number 1 position, followed by Giratina Origin. And then finally, we have Darkrai in at the 3rd position. But as far as the time to wins are concerned between them, I mean, that's a pretty tight window. And it acts very similar to Chandelure in the sense that it gets a similar number of feints in that case. Technically, one less than Chandelure. Chandelure, of course, gets a better time to win. But what I'm trying to showcase with this is Darkrai is actually a very solid option from that Dark typing. You're seeing that Dark Pulse ends up getting put as the number 1 option here. Players would debate that Shadow Ball ends up performing better actually in practice, so we will definitely address that. But point is Darkrai actually is a very solid Pokemon. Chandelure is a little bit rare. Giratina Origin form, I mean, I think a lot of people would be okay with either one of these, to be honest. Of course, Giratina Origin form has a little flexibility on Dragon typing, but no one really uses it in that case. So we're seeing a lot of good news from the raid side. So now let's go over to the PvP. Now, this is something that I've been very interested in more recently with the Go Battle League coming out. And in this case, as far as the ideal moveset is concerned, we're actually seeing Snarl, Dark Pulse, and then finally Focus Blast. So in regards to the moveset, I'm going to go ahead and kind of discuss that a little bit. We've seen on the raid side that Dark Pulse technically edged over it, and you may be wondering, Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, what the heck do I do? Well, I honestly think that what you should do is go ahead and use Snarl, use Dark Pulse, because it ends up being the better moveset between both of them, from the raid side, from the PvP side, which means you're not going to have like multiple of them. You're not going to have to constantly use TMs. If you go about it from that route, then I honestly think it would end up being a better option overall as far as pulling all of your resources together into a single Darkrai, especially like that PvP one. So that's kind of my rationale behind it. Shadow Ball is completely fine, but technically Dark Pulse is going to perform better from the PvP, so that kind of pushes it over the edge for me. But anyways, as far as the key matchups are concerned, this is amazing, because Giratina Origin Form is a very common Pokemon in the Open Masters League. Dialga is a very common Pokemon in the Open Masters League. Metagross is a very common Pokemon in the Open Battle League. This is just absolutely amazing. Of course, you're going to have to worry about something like a Togekiss. That's like one of the more common ones, right? No one using a Poliwrath, no one's using a Clefable, no one's using a Heracross, some people use a Scrafty, but anyway, so this is just kind of like an interesting situation. I'm very excited about it, and it kind of gets me curious to see if we will see more people using Darkrai in PvP. Once it comes back in raids, people can get the candy, unlock the secondary charge move and all that stuff. I honestly think we could see a lot more Darkrai's coming into play. So what are my plans personally for Darkrai? Well, I honestly think that this Pokemon is definitely worth powering up. The only, and I mean the only reservation that I have for this Pokemon is that you just simply can't get it as a lucky. We would love to have that discount, but to some extent that's just kind of like an added bonus. So I would personally recommend powering up this Pokemon. I like that it has good synergy between the raid side and PvP. If you go with Snarl and Dark Pulse, you could just kind of dedicate one and have one ready for both of them. I really like when that happens. It's kind of unfortunate when the movesets don't really line up and then you have to have more than one, to be honest. So excited about that. Unlocking a secondary charge move, it's not necessary from the PvP side. Of course, having Focus Blast can kind of help you out in some cases, but honestly, it's more of like an additive thing. It gives you a competitive advantage, of course, so you're going to have to kind of decide that for yourself. But anyways, I want to know what you think about Darkrai in the comment section below. Are you excited about the shiny variant becoming available in the game? What do you plan to do with it? Raid side, PvP, anything and everything, let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.